All right, so are you ready to dive into something kind of interesting today?
I am. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think so too. It's one of those things. It's kind of a buzzword
Mm.
right now. Everyone's talking about it. We keep hearing about it, and we thought, well, we'll do a deep dive into headless commerce architecture.
Headless Commerce, yeah.
Now I know that sounds a little jargony, a
Yeah,
little techy, right? But
it does.
it's actually really interesting stuff, and it really could impact your life. As a consumer, especially when you think about your online shopping experience.
Absolutely.
The source that we're using for this deep dive is an article from Webnex. It's called Headless Commerce Architecture, Best for Online Retail 2024.
2024, yeah.
This article predicts some pretty big changes coming down the pike in e-commerce.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
They're predicting that e-commerce globally is going to be worth over $10 trillion by 2027.
Yeah, it's exploding.
So that's a pretty big deal, and that's why
Yeah.
we thought we'd be able to take a look at this. And so our goal in this deep dive is to just kind of break it down really simply.
Demystify it.
Yeah, demystify it. Tell you what headless commerce is,
Yeah.
why everyone's making such a big fuss about it, why it's considered, potentially the future of online retail,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
and really just give you the information you need to kind of understand it and see how it might impact your life.
Absolutely.
So let's just start with the very basics. Like what is headless commerce?
Okay, so basically it's this idea of separating the front end and the back end of an online store. So
Okay.
the front end, that's what you see as a customer. That's the website, the mobile app, any kind of interface you're using to shop.
Right, right. So
Oh,
that's the storefront, so to speak.
exactly, exactly. And then the back end is all the behind the scenes stuff. So that's, inventory management, order processing, payments, all that stuff.
Right. All the nuts and bolts that make it work.
Right. And traditionally those two things were really tightly coupled together.
Oh,
It was all part of one big system, but with headless commerce, you separate those two things and they talk to each other through APIs.
okay. So APIs, now that's another term
I know, right?
that we hear a lot.
Yeah, but basically think of APIs as like messengers that carry information back and forth between the front end and the back end.
Okay.
So like when you add something to your cart on a website, an API tells the back end system, hey, this person just added this item to their cart.
Okay, so it's like a little behind the scenes communication system going on.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
And the beauty of this is that it gives businesses a lot more flexibility because they can change the front end without affecting the back end and vice versa.
Okay, so they're not tied to this one big system. They can kind of mix and match a little bit.
Exactly. They can choose the best front end tools, the best back end tools, and connect them together in a way that works best for them.
And I guess that ultimately could lead to a better customer experience if everything's running smoothly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the article gives a really interesting example, actually, of how this flexibility can play out.
Okay.
It says that a retailer could have a website that's optimized for desktops, right?
Yeah.
They could have a separate mobile-friendly site, and they could even have a mobile app.
Yeah.
And all of these things could be powered by the same back-end system.
Right. So you're not managing like three different systems for each of those things.
Right. It's all streamlined.
That's all connected. Yeah.
So that sounds like a huge time saver for businesses.
Huge. Yeah. And a cost saver too.
Yeah. So I'm starting to see why people are excited about this.
Hmm.
I mean, this could really be a game changer
Absolutely.
for e-commerce.
Yeah.
So we talked about what headless commerce is, but let's talk about why is it so advantageous? Like, what are some of the key advantages that the article talks about?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones, and we've kind of touched on this already, is flexibility. This ability to adapt quickly to changing trends, changing customer needs.
Yeah, like if something, a new technology comes out or a new trend emerges, they can just kind of plug it in without having to rebuild their whole system.
Right, exactly. It's like Lego blocks. You can just,
Right.
swap out pieces as needed.
I like that Lego blocks analogy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The flexibility is a big one. What else?
Well, another really important advantage is this idea of an enhanced omni-channel experience.
Okay, now omni-channel, that's another buzzword.
I know there are a lot of buzzwords in this space.
There are.
But basically what it means is that customers can have a seamless experience across all the different touch points that they interact with a brand. So whether it's online, in store, through a mobile app, it's all connected.
Right. So it doesn't matter how I'm shopping with you, it's all the same experience.
Exactly. And headless commerce makes it a lot easier to create that kind of seamless experience because you have that flexibility to connect all those different touch points.
Okay, so omnichannel, enhanced omnichannel experience. That's a big one.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I think another one that's really important, especially for brands that are really focused on, you know, creating a unique identity, is customization.
Okay.
So with headless commerce, you have much more control over the look and feel of your online store. You're not limited by the constraints of a traditional platform.
So you can really let your brand personality shine through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can create a truly unique experience that really reflects your brand.
Okay, so customization,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big one. And what about like integration with other tools and systems? Like a lot of businesses use, things like CRMs or marketing automation platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another big advantage of headless commerce is that it makes it a lot easier to integrate with those kinds of tools because you're using APIs to connect everything. So, if you want to connect your e-commerce platform to your CRM system, you can just use an API to do that.
So it's much more plug and play than it used to be.
Right, exactly. And that can save businesses a lot of time and money.
Yeah, so it sounds like headless commerce really has a lot to offer businesses in terms of flexibility, customization,
Yeah,
and just overall efficiency.
absolutely. And ultimately, all of that leads to a better customer experience.
Right, because if the business is running smoothly, then the customer's going to have a better experience.
Exactly.
So I think we've got a pretty good handle now on what headless commerce is and why it's so advantageous. But I'm curious to know a little bit more about the nitty-gritty, like how does it actually work? Like what are the different components of a headless commerce architecture?
Okay, yeah. So the article breaks it down into 6 key components.
Six.
So the first one is the front end, which we've already talked about.
The storefront.
Right. And then there's the APIs, which are the messengers that connect everything.
Right.
And then there's the back end, which handle all the behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
And then you have data sources, which provide all the information that the system needs to function.
Okay.
And then there's the CMS, which stands for Content Management System. And that's what businesses use to manage all their content, like product descriptions, images, blog posts, that kind of stuff.
That's where the marketing team comes in.
Exactly. And then finally, you have third-party tools, which are all the other systems that a business might want to integrate with their e-commerce platform. So things like CRM systems, ERP systems, marketing automation platforms, all that stuff.
So it's like a whole ecosystem of different tools and technologies all working together.
Right, exactly.
That's amazing.
It is pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah. So it sounds like headless commerce is really all about connecting the best of breed tools and technologies to create a really seamless and powerful e-commerce experience.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
Okay. I think we've covered a lot of ground here,
They
but
have.
I'm ready to dive a little deeper now into, some of maybe the challenges
Yeah.
of implementing headless commerce and really how it impacts the customer experience.
Yay.
So, you ready for that?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that headless commerce isn't, a perfect solution.
Right. There's always a trade-off.
Right. There are definitely some challenges that businesses need to be aware of before they jump in.
Okay, well let's talk about those challenges then.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that businesses might run into?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is integration complexity.
Okay.
You're essentially taking all these different systems and trying to make them work together seamlessly.
Right. It's like herding cats a little
Yeah.
bit.
It can be, yeah, and it requires a lot of technical expertise to get it right.
Yeah, you need someone who really knows what they're doing.
Absolutely. You need developers who understand APIs and how to connect different systems together.
So that brings up another challenge then, which is development and maintenance costs.
Right, exactly, because you need those skilled developers and you need to make sure that everything is maintained and updated over time.
So it's not just a one-time cost. You got to kind of keep investing in it.
Right, it's an ongoing investment.
And I guess that could be a barrier for some businesses, especially smaller businesses that maybe don't have those resources.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a significant investment up front and then ongoing.
Yeah. So it's definitely something to factor in.
Yeah, and then another challenge that businesses sometimes face is a longer time to market. Because you're building a custom front end, it can take longer to get your store up and running compared to using a traditional platform where you might have pre-built templates and things like that.
So if you're in a hurry to get to market, headless commerce might not be the best option.
Right, might not be the fastest option.
Okay, so we've got integration complexity, we've got development and maintenance costs, and we've got longer time to market. Those are some pretty significant challenges.
Yeah, they are. But, I think it's important to weigh those challenges against the potential benefits.
Right, because we talked about a lot of benefits.
Right. And for many businesses, those benefits will outweigh the challenges.
Especially if you're a business that's really focused on growth and innovation and, creating a really unique customer experience.
Absolutely.
But it's definitely not a decision to be taken lightly.
No, you need to really think it through and make sure it's the right fit for your business.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about the technical side of headless commerce. We've talked about the challenges, but let's bring it back to the customer now. Like, how does all of this actually translate into a better shopping experience?
Okay, well, I think one of the biggest ways is that it allows businesses to really create a personalized experience for each customer.
Okay. How so?
Well, because you have all these different systems connected together, you can gather a lot of data about your customers, their browsing history, their purchase history, their preferences.
Right. All that good stuff.
Right. And then you can use that data to personalize the shopping experience. So, you can show them products that they're more likely to be interested in. You can send them targeted offers. You can create a really tailored experience that makes them feel like you know them.
So it's like having a personal shopper, but online.
Exactly. That's the idea.
That's cool.
And then another way that headless commerce can improve the customer experience is by making the checkout process smoother and easier.
Okay.
Because you can integrate with different payment gateways, you can offer a wider range of payment options, and you can make sure that the checkout process is really streamlined and user-friendly.
So no more clunky checkout pages.
Hopefully not.
That's good to hear.
And then another thing that headless commerce can do is improve customer service.
Okay. How? So,
Well, because you can integrate with different CRM systems, you can give your customer service agents a 360-degree view of each customer. So they can see their purchase history, their interaction history, any issues they've had in the past.
so they're not starting from scratch every time they talk to a customer.
Exactly. They have all the information they need to provide really personalized and helpful support.
So it sounds like headless commerce can really touch every aspect of the customer journey.
Yeah, it really can. It has the potential to create a much more seamless and enjoyable shopping experience from start to finish.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty promising.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting stuff.
So we've talked about the benefits for businesses, we've talked about the benefits for customers, but what about the big picture? Like, what does this all mean for the future of online retail?
Well, I think it's safe to say that headless commerce is going to play a major role in shaping the future of online retail.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's already starting to gain a lot of traction.
It is, yeah. More and more businesses are adopting it every day.
And I think that as technology continues to evolve, headless commerce is only going to become more powerful and more versatile.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to see a lot of really innovative and creative applications of headless commerce in the years to come.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Me too.
So with all this talk about the future, I can't help but wonder if there's anything that we as consumers should be doing to prepare for this shift towards headless commerce.
Huh.
Like, should we be approaching online shopping differently or?
That's a great question. And I think it's something that we should definitely explore. Well, I think as consumers, it's less about, actively doing something to prepare and more about just being aware of, what this technology can do.
So kind of keeping our finger on the pulse of how things are changing.
Exactly. And as consumers, we're becoming more and more discerning. We want personalized experiences.
Right.
And headless commerce really gives businesses the tools to deliver that.
So it's almost like a feedback loop.
Yeah.
The more we demand those personalized experiences, the more businesses are going to adopt these technologies to meet those demands.
Right, exactly. Kind of pushes the whole industry forward.
Yeah, and that ultimately benefits us as consumers.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
But it also brings up some interesting questions about data privacy and how our information is being used.
Right, absolutely. Just because a company can personalize our experience doesn't mean they always should.
Right. We need to be thoughtful about what information we're sharing and how comfortable we are with that level of personalization.
Yeah, and I think transparency is really key here. Look for companies that are upfront about how they're using your data and that give you control over your preferences.
So it's not just about, blindly embracing the latest technology. It's about being informed and making conscious choices as consumers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think we have a lot of power as consumers. We can choose to support businesses that align with our values and that are committed to, creating ethical and sustainable shopping experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vote with your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. So it sounds like headless commerce is just one piece, of a much larger puzzle when it comes to the future of online retail.
Hmm.
It's about technology, but it's also about this evolving relationship between businesses and consumers.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. As we move towards this more personalized and interconnected world, that relationship is only going to become more important.
Well said. So to wrap things up, it seems like headless commerce has the potential to really revolutionize online retail
Mm.
by giving businesses these tools to create these unique and engaging experiences that are really tailored to each individual customer.
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting development, and I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds and how this all plays out.
Me too.
So that brings us to the end of our deep dive into headless commerce architecture. We hope you found this exploration insightful and thought-provoking. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Are you excited about the possibilities, or do you have concerns about the potential downsides? Share your thoughts with us on social media. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.